Welcome back to RVdreamz, where I have the hair of a disgruntled porcupine more often than not, because that's how it looked a second ago. It really did. It was just wild as can be. We were talking about a few things, and today I'm actually going to be cutting this a little bit in parts, and I'm going to sit in my chair here in a minute. And what we're going to talk about is I lost a video. I did. I had 10 minutes worth of video. It's gone. Doesn't matter what it was. We had to bring the RV in again to get some repairs done. Don't worry, these are not major repairs, although they kind of turned into that. But anyway, we're going to talk about that in just a second. I want you to get comfortable and to buckle in. This is going to be a wild ride today. Hey, everybody. I got this weird thing going on with my hair that I can't deal with it. It's a ski jump. I don't know why. No, I do know why. I lay on this side of my bed, so when I lay on the pillow, it just kind of, the hair just, it ski jumps right here. Same thing with the beard. It actually goes really weird. Like, it goes this way, and then I got to comb it back in the morning, and it's a whole other thing. You don't care about that. What we do care about is I just did a big, long honking video on how we waste time, and I realized that it was a 5-minute video, and it took like almost 20 minutes. Not even a 5-minute video, and it took almost 20 minutes. How stupid. Anyway, the whole thing is we brought the RV in. We're doing some safety maintenance. We're doing some actual maintenance, just typical maintenance. And it seems like the RV is constantly in there. Well, we use it. And then when you use it, stuff has to get maintained, like the brakes. The brakes, there was a little bit of brake dust on the front. That means something's wearing down pretty fast. May need to be looked at. And I was like, that's why we're in here. Let's get them changed. I mean, don't even ask me a question. Get them changed. Turns out the rotors are warped. I'm like, great, get them changed. The back actually, the pads didn't look bad, but they could be. And like, get them changed. I would rather change them when it's too early than change them when, oh poop, it's too late. I don't want to get there. I've been there in my life where I waited and did things at the last second. Like, I'm done. I am absolutely done. I am wildly done. So I'm out. Anyway, what ends up happening now is we've got all these wonderful things in our lives where we have to do all this maintenance, and it's par for the course. And that got me to thinking, what do we do with the rest of our lives? What are we really doing? I'm going to try to keep this around the 5-minute mark. I don't know how long it's actually going to go, but I'm going to try. So what do we do when it comes to the rest of our lives? Well, let's be fair, and I'm not maintaining the business end of things very well, because I'll sit there first thing in the morning and do the scrolling through Instagram. Like, I'll do this all day long. All day long, I'll do that. And, what starts off is, I'm only going to do this for about 5, maybe 10 minutes, and like an hour and a half later, it's like, I got to quit this. This is too much. And I put it down, I get up, and I go do my thing, but it's an hour later. And what ends up happening was when I go to make lunch, because, you get hungry at some point during the day, or you make breakfast, and you're done with breakfast, and you're like, I just ate. I want to relax for a few minutes. And like, you don't have that luxury when you have a 9-to-5 job, do you? No, you do not. So why are you doing it now? Because no boss is crawling up your butt telling you to get to work. And that's why you chose the nomadic lifestyle. So what you do is you finally, eventually, one day you get around to working, and it may have been 2-3 hours. Where at home it would have been half an hour. Now it's 2-3 hours later. So you cut into your day 2-3 hours, and then what ends up happening is even better than that. Because what you end up doing is, now that you're finally working, you get the tiniest distraction. It doesn't matter what it is. You get the tiniest distraction, and poof, you're off. You're off like a squirrel. I mean, you're gone. You're all over the place. And then you start thinking, well, I got to get supper ready. It's only 2 o'clock. Well, I got to get supper ready. I got to pull something out. Like, do you, though? Do you need to do it right at that minute? Because you wouldn't be doing that at work, would you? No, you would not. So get your butt back to work. I almost said crack-a-lackin'. Get crack-a-lackin'. I got to stop doing that. But anyway, you have to force yourself to work. Because let's be honest, this is not a free lifestyle where I can just load up fuel for free at $300 a tank. I don't get that for free. $3,000. We're looking at closer to $3,500 for repairs on the RV. That's not free. That's $500 to change the oil and like, no, it's not free. None of it's free. None of it. So I have to pay for it, right? And how do I do that? Well, I do that by YouTube channel, looking for monetization. So don't forget to like, subscribe, share with your friends, and the biggest thing, leave a thumbs up. Honestly, that helps out the channel quite a bit. Leave a comment. That helps out quite a bit as well. So what happens is, since my RV channel is not actually making me any money, I have to rely on more traditional things like my photography. I have to get out there and I have to not only take pictures, I have to sell the pictures somewhere. I have to sell to people somewhere. I have to go up to people and go, hey, that's a really cool, raw, organic, whatever honey that you're selling over there. How would you like some pictures of that product? I'm like, I got to do it. I have to do it. I literally have to do this. I have to go to other people and then say, hey, when you do your fair or your festival or your farmer's market or whatever, hey, how would you like some pictures for that? And I got to do it because stuff is not free. I got to do it. And I do interviews with other channels, and this is not money. This is never about money with this one. I am interviewing other channels to support them and to bring their channels to you, to an audience that they might not already have. So the community is trying to help out the community. And what's going to happen is I help out enough people, they're going to help me out. And then all of a sudden, RVdreamz becomes monetized. That's great. And I love giving you the quality content that I like to give you. Oh, my leg is going crazy over here. But anyway, I like to give you the quality content that I am delivering. And I like to give you all these other channels and all these other things. And I like to do that so that one day I can be monetized and do it on a bigger scale and actually make money from it. Now, I know it's not going to happen overnight. I know it's not going to happen probably within the first 6 to 8 months. It's probably not even close to happening. And it's probably been 6 months or 8 months. And it's not happening anytime soon, but it'll happen soon enough, is what I'm trying to get across. And then eventually I'll be able to make a full-time living off of this. And what else I have to do is I have a couple of other small businesses that I do. And I've got Marcy's got a couple of businesses that she does. And we're trying to help each other out. We're trying to cross-promote all kinds of stuff. And as we do this, this is our income. This is the income that actually pays for the trip. Because again, the trip is not free. So when I go to the campgrounds and we were boondocking for a bit. Boondocking is great, but I got to run the generator for so long. Like that takes fuel. And there's wear and tear on the machine, which means I've got to get the oil changed. I've got to get the filters replaced. I've got to do everything I possibly can for everything that I possibly can. And okay, this costs money. So where am I getting the money from? And again, we go back to all these things and so when you're living a nomadic lifestyle, unless you are independently wealthy or you have literally billions of dollars that you can just travel around and spend, $500,000 a year traveling around, great. I can't. I actually looked at the numbers and it's between $45,000 on the low end to $75,000 on the, I took a trip to Europe, I went to Asia, I went to Australia, whatever. I went places. $75,000 a year to live out of the RV, which is great. And I've actually thought about if I had 2 houses, and that's another video, but if I had 2 houses, and where are you getting the money? And it's you got to think about it. Do you Airbnb this place with all my personal stuff laid out like this? I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know if I like that, so probably not going to do that. And then I have to think about, well, I've got this other place and another state, another city, another country, whatever. I have another place of whatever description, size, and flavor. And what do I do at that place in the off season? Do I have a bunch of personal things out there as well? And then I trust that people are going to be okay with my stuff, or I don't know. So it's just one of those things. I gotta be careful. I gotta learn. I gotta do things, and so it's one of those things. You have to learn to discipline yourself so that you can work. And you have to work because I'm not independently wealthy. I do not have hundreds of millions of dollars in the bank that I can just liquidate by doing my travels. I don't have that. So I have to work in order to build the income to do this stuff. So it's one of those things, like, I'm not making mega bucks. I'm not. And it covers my travels a little bit. And Marcy's going to tell you a whole other story because, boy, she likes to harp on things. And to be fair, so do I. I like to harp on the Mini. I'm not a Mini fan. I'm not. She loves it, so great. It's your car. Spend whatever you want on it, and it's none of my business. And that's the end of that. But it's not my car. So I can only tease and joke only so much. Then the rest of it comes in, you're being a jerk. So I got to be careful. Anyway, it's just one of those little things. Like, what are we doing? How do you do it? Where do you move forward? That's really the big thing. So when it comes to repairs, how do you pay for that? Well, obviously, you have to have a job of some kind. In order to have a job of some kind, you have to keep discipline, which was the main point of this portion of the video, was that you have to maintain your discipline. You have to do things. You have to discipline yourself. So when you go to do groceries, is it just going out to do groceries where it's 1 hour, boom, boom, done? Or is it, I'm going to do groceries, maybe look at the park, I'm going to stop by a friend, we're going to go out to lunch. What is it? What is it really? Be serious. Be serious with yourself. Be real. Because if you're not real, you're in trouble. Anyway, we will pick up this video again. So again, get comfortable. Hit that pause button if you need to. We're going to pick it up again in a few minutes or a few hours or who knows. Because I actually have work to do back here on my computer, which you can't see. Anyway, my computer's closed. Anyway, computer's back there. I have work to do, and I have spent way too much time doing this video that isn't going to pay me anything. So we will catch you again in just a few minutes. So kick back, relax, go get yourself a drink, hit the bio break if you need it, and we'll see you in a few minutes. So I had a friend of mine just reach out to me just 2 days ago, right? Reached out to me, and he said, oh my goodness, I got something in my eye. Oh, don't you hate that when that happens? You're in the middle of a thought, and all of a sudden some thing is in your eye. And so I had a friend of mine reached out to me, and he said, you know what, you're having a hard time. And I've had an absolutely hard time. And he said, you know what is really good for you is bibliotherapy. And at first my mind was like, Bible therapy? Because Bible. Anyway, turns out, no, not at all. What it is, this is what it is. And you look at that. See, it says notes. It doesn't say notes. It says notebook. You know what it is by looking at it. I don't have to explain it to you. You're smart. Anyway, so that's what he meant by bibliotherapy, was writing down your thoughts and your feelings. And, I'm angry with you. So you write that out and then you burn it or you rip it up and throw it away or whatever. The idea is you don't ever have to actually share that. You just express how you feel on paper. And then that's as far as it ever goes. It gets it out of your system. And then it doesn't have to go anywhere from there. And it's like, a little bit of not so much for me. So what I do with the bibliotherapy is I write stuff down. Yeah, absolutely. I write stuff down. And then I don't do anything with it. I write stuff down. I write down a lot of stuff. I've got notebooks upon notebooks upon notebooks. And by the way, I bought a bunch of these. I bought like 3 or 4 of these yellow bugger and things that get in focus. There we go. That notebook right there. High quality Japanese notebook. Absolutely love them. They're thin, but they're only a few bucks, and the pages, the pages are exquisite. I'm a bibliophile. I love books. And I love pens. You can tell because of this pen right here, which I don't know if that's ever in focus. There we go. In focus. That's my pen. Love it. It's a brass pen, and it's got a little bit of fake wood on the end. See what I did there is I pulled it out this way. Okay, so it goes in like that, right? And then I pull it out, and then we put it on the back here. I don't know why I'm explaining this. It's a pen. Okay, check that out. This is a beautiful pen. I love that pen. Anyway, I have a thing for fountain pens. So the idea is writing down my thoughts and my feelings. Not, I'm angry with Marcy because something stupid. No. What I do is I write down, I am struggling with my temper. Therefore, ... And then I write that stuff out and I come to an understanding. So by the time I'm done writing and I'm yelling at myself, so to speak, and I'm saying bad things about me maybe, and maybe I'm saying great things about me. Who knows? Who knows what the day brings? But I'm saying things about me. And then what I do is by the time I'm done writing that, and I say, I have a problem, and then I write down what the problem is in detail. And then by the time I get down to the end, it's like I have a solution. That's what I take bibliophile to be, or bibliotherapy to be. There we go. Anyway, absolutely love it. I have got a disgusting amount of notebooks, but I really want to show you this one. This one here, and it comes with a pendant, which is, of course, with focus there, camera. Love the camera pendant. Anyway, it's a bunch of notebooks in here, and it's the greatest thing in the world. Anyway, before I get much more off topic, this is what I'm really getting to, is you need to have a notebook like this. Doesn't matter what your notebook looks like. It doesn't matter. I bought this one for a few bucks, and it's off Temu, and it's got like a clear cover that goes on top of that cover, and I don't know why it does that, but who cares? I write notes in here. And what I do with those notes, I write down, I need a haircut, I need to do groceries, I need to whatever, and I write everything down, right? So the idea is that by the time I'm done writing everything down, I've got, 20 things that I have to do. So the next day when I go there and say, oh, I got to get out of bed. It's only 8 o'clock. Oh, I could sleep in till 10. Whatever. We all do it. Don't lie. We all do it. You get a day off, tell me you don't want to sleep in. I know I do. But I get up in the morning and I go, I actually have stuff to do because I got a notebook. And then I get up and I start doing things, and I start scratching things out of my notebook, right? So I did this, and I did this, and I did this, and I did this. And it's great. It is a wonderful, wonderful feeling to be able to do that. So what I'm suggesting is that when it comes to RV life, you do things like that. I don't care if you even pull out sticky notes. And yes, it's pink. I don't care. It takes notes. It's not gender specific. Anyway, I've also got these little things here. These are absolutely wonderful. These are actually these. These are just little blank business cards, right? It's kind of waxy on the one side, and it's kind of regular paper on the other side. Brilliant. Put down your important information on here. Like what I do is I've got one of those, and what I've done with it is I've actually written down all the important information for my RV. So I write it down on there. So when it comes time to you get pulled over, and like, no problem, I got this. It's got my license plate number, the gross vehicle weight, how many gallons of this, that, and the next thing, and all everything. And I love it because I need stuff written down. So that's something you should do, is you should have things like that where you have maybe a notebook like that, a note file or a note card, okay, a note card, 3.5 by 5 recipe card, whatever, it doesn't matter. A sticky note, doesn't matter. Write your stuff down on there and say, hey, here's important information that I need. So you don't have to think about it. You don't have to look for it. You just, boom, here's my card. Here's my information. I'm good to go. And what you do with the notebook here is you look back at, well, I had to get the oil changed. I got to get the brakes looked at. I got to get the e-brake looked at. Oh yeah, there's the filter. And so what you need to do is you need to write that stuff down on a notebook, right? You write it down, do your thing, magic happens. You stop being lazy. You start getting focused. The beginning of the video is I had stuff to do. The middle of the video is look at how lazy I can be. And then the end of the video is now look at all the ways that you can not be lazy. Look at how you can move forward and progress in your life. Look at the things that you can get done. And look at how wonderful that is to be able to do those things. So whether you have a problem and you write it out in your journal, or if you have a list of things to do, which you can see, I have a couple of pages in here. I got lots of notes. So whether you have that, or whether you need to look something up, having that discipline automated, that's the key word. So when I write that stuff down in my notebook, so I write it down in my notebook, I have to do A, B, C, D. Okay, let's go. So I wake up in the morning and I have to do these things. So I do them. And I stay on track. I stay on focus. I stay on topic. My lunch doesn't take 45 minutes because I'm focused on that. So I have breakfast, maybe, and then I have supper for sure. Lunch is next to never. So what I do is I make sure that I'm writing all this stuff down so I can get stuff done, get stuff taken care of. So that's the whole point behind this video. And I know I took the long way around the lake here, so to speak, but it's what you need to do. It's what you need to have done. It's what you need to make things happen. So get out there in your own life, make some stuff happen. Do it. Make it happen. And there's this wonderful thing here from a distillery that I found. And I love this because, let's see if that Is that even going to be in focus? Yeah. Don't be the village idiot. Don't be the village idiot. Get outside, make some notes, have some fun, and we'll talk to you again in the next video. Like, subscribe, thumbs up, and share this with a friend so that we can get the word out there that I'm actually trying to make some content here. And hopefully you found it fun and enjoyable. Let me know down in the comments what you actually think of this stuff. Do you have a 9-to-5 job, or do you have, like, where you have notes that you have to do during the day? Or are you freelance where you can do it at 9 to 5, you could do it at 10 to 6, you can do it at 2 to whatever, and you know, what do you have? What kind of a life do you have? Like, where do you do work? How do you discipline yourself to get your work done? That's what we're looking for. So let me know down in the comments how you do that. And we'll talk to you again in the next video. Until then, take care.